How can Singapore better prepare itself to face the economic challenges in a digital future? By making more friends, of course. In international trade speak, that means signing more free trade agreements or FTAs. Now, speaking at the Free Trade Agreement Symposium today, Minister in charge of Trade Relations, Iswaran, said that Singapore is working with like-minded partners to shape a new digital trade architecture. Singapore currently have over 24 FTAs with 36 trading partners all over the world. But that's not good enough, as current trade rules and policies do not address the needs of the digital economy. Minister in charge of Trade Relations S. Iswaran said today at the Free Trade Agreement Symposium that Singapore will have a new international trade strategy. That is, to actively partner like-minded countries and organizations and sign more digital economy agreements. Now, to tell us more about this, I'm joined here in the studio by senior political correspondent Grace Ho. Hey, Grace.
Hello.
Welcome to the show. Now, Grace, tell us more about this FTA strategy and as well as the FTA symposium.
Well, this symposium marks a milestone of sorts because it's 20 years since Singapore embarked on its free trade agreement journey. Almost 20 years ago, it signed its first bilateral FTA with New Zealand. But back then, the received trade orthodoxy was that such bilateral agreements could be discriminatory. But Singapore took a different tack. So it made sure of three things in its FTAs. First, that they are WTO or World Trade Organization consistent. In other words, we don't break the international rules.
Yeah.
And second, they go over and above the WTO baseline commitments. And third, we remain open to other countries which wanted to join as well, and who were willing to adopt the same high standards as us.
Right.
So it's a bit like piecing together Lego blocks. So you put one piece together, two pieces together, and over time you build a trade architecture where more and more partners feel comfortable to come on board. And in that process, you kind of adapt and change the trade rules.
Right. So, Grace, while having more of such FTAs will help us to open markets, what more needs to be done so that we can compete better in a digital future?
As Minister Iswaran said today at the symposium, Singapore is starting work on new forms of partnerships called digital economy agreements. And these agreements, they set very clear and harmonized international rules, and they guard against digital and data barriers. They are also intended to address some of the emerging issues like artificial intelligence, digital identities. At the same time, Singapore is also working at the WTO with like-minded partners to develop baseline international rules that guide digital trade and how it's conducted. But as for Singapore businesses, they too themselves can think about how they can better tap on new forms of distribution in order to export their products. So instead of, for instance, going overseas to look for a distributor, why not market and sell your products online and sell them directly to end consumers?
Right.
The other point also raised by some of the panelists at the symposium was that there is actually a rather large market of more than 600 million people in your hinterland in ASEAN, which is 10 countries. So not just to look at markets like Europe and the US, but also to look within one's neighborhood to see what opportunities there are.
Right. Thanks, Grace, for telling us a bit about Singapore's trade plans for the future. I think we certainly have a lot to look forward to. Of course, if you'd like to see the full story, you can always head on down to our website at straitstimes.com. And once again, thanks, Grace, for coming on the show.